Coach, thank you so much for taking the time and chatting to us right here as the Netball South Africa. I do know that we have disturbed your holiday, a well-deserved holiday, following a phenomenal Telkom Netball League that you've just wrapped up. You continue to set new records. This was your 5th consecutive title. Are you still relishing those moments?
Yes, definitely. I think over the years, we've really started to understand how important it is to really celebrate our successes and our wins. You work so hard for so long, and then you want it to last as long as possible. And I remember my husband said just before we played the finals, he said, please win because we want to have a nice holiday. If you lose, then we never have a nice holiday. So I had to win to keep the family happy on the family vacation.
Definitely, Coach. But let's just talk about the Telkom Netball League. I mean, only 2 teams have won this tournament, the Free State Crinums and yourself. But the Free State Crinums actually won the competition from 2014 in its inception until 2016. And then from there on, from 2017, you went on to win the competition until this year. What do you think has changed that has steered you to success compared to the first 3 seasons?
Well, we actually talked and thought about the first 3 seasons quite a lot because it was a bunch of phenomenal players that back in the day were not known to anybody, and now they play for the Protea team. So yes, I remember that first 2 years we lost in extra time in that first 2 finals, and I mean it was such a good game, and you can never take anything away from that Crinums team. You had such great, brilliant players in that team, and they represented the country, and they were supposed to win that competition 3 times in a row. They were just so phenomenal. But what was really great to see is how we at a stage we realized we can't learn the lessons more than once. If you learn a lesson, learn it quickly, move on, make the adaptations, don't make that mistake again. And that was quite important, and also just to build that experience over the past few years. And I remember after the 3rd time we lost against the Crinums in the finals, we were now the 4th year driving to the Crinums to play the tournament in Free State. And I mean, I was just sitting in that bus and I was just like, can this be happening? And I mean, we didn't know we were going to win that one. We obviously hoped we would win it. But I remember in the beginning of that season, we had a good discussion, and I said to the girls, I only have one request this year. We either win the finals or we don't play in the finals. Sure. But that's the only wish you have this year. So if you decide to stay, then we have to win. Yeah. Or we don't play in the finals at all, because I can't take another one like that. And luckily they pulled through that year and we got our first win.
Talking about pulling through, Coach, since 2017 to 2021, obviously there's always new players coming in, but you still manage to make sure that the synergy is there when they get on court and they are able to yield those positive results. How do you do that?
You know what, I think I've got a good eye for players, and I know what type of players the team needs. So we need the type of player that will sacrifice the position for possession. We need the type of player that would be valuable enough to do what is valuable and not what is impressive. And that at the end of the day, it makes it a team approach and not just an individual approach. And the moment you get that synchronization and getting that connection is even more important than the game plan. I remember last year, and we were right in the middle of COVID, and we were so lucky to actually get that tournament. Remember, we had to go into this massive, very closed bubble to go and play the competition. And we had so little time in camp together and training together that I said to the girls, connection. The strategy needs to take second, seconds need to be second, and the connection needs to be first and foremost. So at first we need to connect, and then we can build a strategy around that. So, and this year, luckily we had more time to prepare, so we could build quite a lot of strategy and tactic into our game, but the connection still stayed strong. So it's really connecting between the players that's important.
Coach, you also mentioned having a good eye for talent, and I completely agree with that. I mean, you've coached and developed a whole lot of Proteas players. The list is endless, from the likes of Lenise Potgieter, Shadeen, China, Izet. The list goes on and on and on. It must be fulfilling to see that you contribute immensely to the success of netball in the country.
Yes, definitely. And I think, sometimes the new Jaguars and the new TNL players that comes in and plays, they also have that dream to play for the Proteas. And sometimes I have to remind them, you know what, it's some of your Jaguar chummies that's actually in those positions at the moment after a lot of hard work. So it's not impossible, but the timing needs to be right. So yes, we are grateful that we managed to get so many national call-ups in our teams. But you know what I love is overall in the competition, there's quite a lot of teams that's bringing up, and there's so much talent shown that's being showcased at the moment. I'm so excited. I mean, as a national coach as well, it's just really difficult to even start to think about who your selection should go to,
Definitely, Coach. But Coach, as one of the most successful coaches that we have in South Africa, looking at this year's Telkom Netball League, that defeat against the Stings, and something that you've never hidden is that you hate losing, and you're probably not the only coach that hates losing. How did you handle that loss? Because you guys came back stronger, like nothing ever happened.
Yes, we know. I just took them through the whole journey of the Jaguars for the past 5 years. And, we had two campaigns where we went through undefeated and where we won the tournament undefeated. But the other two, we had to lose a game in order to win the tournament. And I said to them, you know what, it's so important. I remember the 1 year before this loss against the Sting, our previous loss against the Stings, and the only team we lost against, was the previous year, the first game of the campaign. So in that 2 years, we didn't lose any matches. So I said to them, you know what, it needs to be at the right time. And we'll never play to lose. We always play to win. I mean, that's just the way we are. But at the end of the day, I think that was the energy boost we needed, because we had such a good campaign, and I could feel the energy was starting to get low. And then, yes, we had that injury of Danielle that had such a good tournament. And, at that stage, a lot of the players, there was a few injuries in a row because of all the tournaments they had to play. And I could see the little bit of a concern within my players to say, you know what, shit, what's happening here now? And I said to them, you know what, we have a scheduled training session for this afternoon, but I'm opting to rather give you a 24-hour break to make sure that when we play against the Stings, we are rested, and we make sure we look after your bodies first. And then in that game, we gather as much as possible information about who they are, how they play, what combinations they play, and immediately we'll see where we are vulnerable against them. So they'll give us a lot of clues on what we need to fix before we play them in the finals. And that definitely happened because they really played a good match, and they always play a good match. It's such a good team, the Stings team. I think they've proven it over the years. But luckily, we didn't sit back. I said to them, there's no time. You need to trust the system, trust this team. There's no time to feel sorry for yourself now. Now we need to start fixing the problems, because we have never been put under enough pressure to see where the cracks will show. And today we had the opportunity to see and to be proactive. So let's be proactive. So we did quite a lot of work after that game, and it came right at the right time.
And Coach, looking at the players in your team, they are players who are able to step up when you give them a task. And just besides having a good eye, I mean, for a aspiring netball player who's sitting at home and asking themselves, like, they want to be a part of this winning team, what do you look for in a player?
You know what? Discipline. And the first thing that's quite important is discipline. And discipline is something that on every level. I mean, if you ask the Protea coach now, the first thing she'll also say is she needs disciplined players. You can't throw away all the balls. You need to make sure that you keep the possession. The second thing that I really look for is the resilience, consistent resilience. So I really need that consistency. So it's not about never making a mistake. It's about what you do with that mistake and how you you fill that up and how you change it to the better. And the third thing is obviously keeping a cool head under pressure. You need that cool head under pressure to be able to take on the big matches when it really matters, and to play for your team when it really matters. So yes, that's definitely 3 of my top priorities when I look at a player.
Definitely, coach. But I think I really have to ask you this. For someone who's sitting on the sidelines during matches, especially in the Telkom Netball League, when you're not at your happiest when your team is playing, how do you manage to maintain or just control your emotions? Because we sometimes just look at you like she's not happy, but you still need to remain calm and be level-headed as well. How do you do that?
I don't think I'm so good with it. I think I'm still working on it. I think I'm better than what I used to be in the past. And I also think it's important to show emotion. Maybe, yes. I mean, we had a lot of discussions about how much emotion to show, but I also think, you look at Nolene, the New Zealand coach, and you can see a lot of emotion. And the thing is to show the right emotions at the right time. That will boost your team. Now, mostly my team I don't have the type of team that will look to the bench if there's something wrong and that will tell me, oh, what's happening? How can I help? So they don't really focus on me on the bench at all, which is the way I like it. But yes, it's just like the players. We're always working at it to get better at it. I think over the years I've become better, but yes, I always just go back to fix the problem. It's no use you throw your emotions. Emotional intelligence is so important in this sport. And if you've got emotions, it's a very powerful tool to use, but it's also not very predictable and reliable, rather. So your emotion, if it's there, use it. But if it's not there, you still need to be able to perform. You need to fall back onto discipline. And at the end of the day, so if we have a good emotion, we use it. But the bad emotions, I try to just fix my bounce back, use my resilience to just focus on giving them a plan and finding solutions to the problems instead of just seeing all the problems in front of my eyes the whole time.
But coach, I mean, you've literally dominated netball in the country as also head of program at Tax Netball and head coach as well. Tax won the USA Netball Championships title. One is asking, what is your secret to success?
You know what? I don't think there is only one secret to the being. I think it's everything combined. The one thing, if I should say, is I'm really quite good at putting my entire focus into something that the most important priority for the moment. So if the Jaguars are the priority, I'm also able and also have the resources and the manpower around me to be able to say, you know what, I switch off from the rest now. Now I only focus on the Jaguars. And having that focus really brings in so much discipline, structure, well-organized, balanced approach, which the players love and appreciate, and they feed off it, and they know exactly what's going to happen when, and they also know that even if things change, there's enough structure and support and backbone to not get rattled in the process. So at the end of the day, definitely that total focused approach, I think, makes such a big difference. And just the feistiness of my players, I mean, they just love to play. And I think, we have a good balance between really being serious and doing our jobs when it matters, but also having a lot of fun behind the scenes. I think, we really party when we win, and we make jokes, and I remember I said to them in the middle of the Crinums game, I said to them, listen, if you win this match, we're going to the Valley of the Waves the next day. Oh, and they all played, and I said, no, let's go. And the next morning, the Crinums walked right next to us, but they were also on their way to the Valley of the Waves. So they said, hey, coach, they can also go. I said, yes, well, everybody can go. But at that moment, I mean, we really enjoyed it. And after that match, we all went to the Valley of the Waves, and we had fun because we had the day off the next day. So I think that balance stays important, because all of them are either working or studying and also playing netball. So they need to enjoy what they are doing. And I really do think that they know I trust them with a good plan, and I trust them to execute the plan. And I also trust their abilities to change the plan on court when it doesn't work.
Also, Coach, I think you've once mentioned in an interview that you want your teams to play entertaining netball as opposed to pretty or textbook netball. Would you elaborate on that?
Yes, I think, you know, we work so hard when we train as a team and all the different teams I coach. I mean, we really put a lot of hard work in, and we try to perfect a lot of skills. And obviously I always tell them, it's not, we don't practice a difficult skill to show off. We practice that difficult skill to win one extra ball, to turn one extra ball, to just get that loose ball that will get us the win. So it's all about the 1%. But at the end of the day, we still want to inspire the young ones to get off the couches when they see us playing, to actually go and train, to go and play, throw that ball against the wall, to really aspire to become more. Because it can be training the whole year and never testing your abilities and never taking your skill level up can become quite boring. And the thing is, they need to also feel like we're investing in them as individual players as well. Because it's quite important to me. I always tell them, you as an individual player need to perform and need to play for the national team, to help the Jaguars. But as Jaguars, we all need to perform together to help the individual as well. So we need to be there for each other always.
Definitely, Coach. Now, as a coach who has coached and developed a plethora of Proteas players, and looking at the talent that we currently have when it comes to our netball players in South Africa, and as we gear up for the 2023 Netball World Cup, would you say we are ready for the World Cup, and that we are looking good in terms of contesting for the title?
I think the core of the Protea team has got so much experience and are really valuable for the team and for the country. And I think, yes, we can expect quite a lot of them. And they will definitely be ready. There's the players that will be surrounding them has gotten quite a few opportunities to play. I know we're going to the African Cup now as well. So yes, I think, you know, we are ready. Obviously, we need to push now for a third position. We've gotten that fourth position in the World Cup. But we need to remember there's still a Commonwealth Games even before the World Cup. Next year is Commonwealth Games and we're going back to England. And that's even more important now in the short run because it's less than a year away. So that's definitely where the focus should be on now. But in the meantime, we are trying to build that depth with the national team and the President's 12 team, which I'm the coach of, to make sure that we can get a little bit more out of all our players and give them more exposure. But yes, we are really looking forward to that opportunity, obviously, in South Africa. So, and the girls, all the players as well, their eyes sort of light up when they know it's coming here.
And we have the likes of you, Coach. I know that you'll find the right talent that will get us those results at the end. But, Coach, looking at your stats, I mean, 5 consecutive titles, 8 consecutive finals, 2 undefeated season, and an 85 winning percentage. What do you still want to achieve in your netball career as a coach?
You know, my coaching philosophy, I always tell the players, as for me as coach, it is, while we play to win always, winning is never the way we measure our success. There's a standard that ranks above it all, the higher standard, and that's what we play for. And we want to be able to set the standard in the country. And we always feel we fall short. And I always say, you know, we feel the pressure, but the pressure we feel is the pressure we are putting on ourselves. We put a lot more pressure on ourselves than what the public or the rest are putting on us because we are the defending champions. Or, you know, when you walk into a tournament and they're constantly saying defending champions, or undefeated, it puts quite a lot of pressure on you. But luckily, I think we balance it well. We totally throw off the balance because we expect even more of ourselves than those 1 or 2 titles that are given to you in a tournament. So yes, I mean, it's been such a good run. I remember this year, for the first time, I was thinking, I was actually the semi-finals, I was thinking I was a little bit more stressed with the semi-finals than with the finals, because I thought to myself, I can't finish we can't stop our winning streak of playing in the finals, or our final streak. You know, we want to get into that finals. You can't say you've only been in 7 finals. You want to say you've been in 8 finals. You know, and I was kind of, I thought, okay, yeah, I really want to play in the finals again. And then when we got to the finals, I'm really comfortable in finals, and I really trust my team's abilities and my own abilities in the finals, because we've had quite a few runs in it. So I enjoy playing in finals, really, really do.
Well, Coach, thank you so much for taking the time and chatting to us. We really wish you the best. We'd like to say congratulations for just continuing to set new records and just breaking a whole lot of boundaries. And we're looking forward to see you set new records as well, and just doing what you do best, which is excelling in netball. So thank you so much for chatting to us.
Thank you very much for having me, and I just want to say to God be all the glory, because he's been a part of this team since the very start, and he will always be a part of this team, and he's just amazing.
Thank you, Coach.